how do you compete to go to college? The free college.
Yeah, it's based
on...
The
other question I have about these rights, do I have the right to procreate as many times as I want to?
Well, they say that in there they do address that. They say that the family is the fundamental unit of society.
I don't believe that.
You know, as interesting as that question is, it really is a valuable question because on one side of the coin we have people with 12, 14, 16 kids that are...
I have 12, 14, 16 pairs of shoes. I'm serious. It has the same subject. You know?
Right. I understand. I see that there's maybe a value to that, but you wouldn't want to be like China either and be terminating children because they're not valuable.
Well, Imelda Marcos had 3,500.
Yeah. Ferdinand Marcos' wife had what? Huh?
Imelda Marcos.
Imelda Marcos had 35,000 pairs.
3,500.
Oh, 3,500 pairs of shoes. Yeah, pretty crazy.
The thing is, I see in America, there's a lot of unresponsible people that have children these days.
Why is that?
20, 30. Because part of the system made it that way for a while. Dumbing down people.
Yep.
Juvenile levels of attention.
Yeah, I think educated people have less children, right?
Has anybody seen Idiocracy?
Yes. Every day when I wake up. If you haven't seen the movie Idiocracy, it's worth sitting down to a bowl of popcorn.
I'll just say this: of all the movies I've seen that predict a would-be future, that one's probably the most accurate. Probably the most accurate.
Well, that is education level and education level and belief system are really the driving factors behind how many children a family has, I believe. I know I grew up in a very, very conservative family, and birth control was off the table. It wasn't talked about. It wasn't available.
That's the height of irresponsibility.
It was a sin that would send you to hell regardless of anything else you did in your life. I was married into another group who believed that it was their purpose to have as many children as possible before anybody else because they were bringing children that were already born in a spirit world and they needed to have them inside of a home that was inside this institution, and it was very important. It was seen partly as, it was why you were here. So it is a very interesting question, a legitimate question to talk about. It affects us all on a global scale.
Would anybody object to me calling around this week to some places and seeing if we can get a place to go? And if, say, for example, I found a multi-purpose room in some church, and they said, sure, you can use it Saturdays if you mop the floor when you're done and put the chairs on the table. Yeah. Is that okay? Something like that?
I try not to mop floors, that's fine.
All right, or something like that. I can give a certain nod to a certain amount of effort in exchange for warmth and dry and quiet. Okay, I'll work on that.
Okay, on that note, on the 26th, we have the Richland Library. It's been secured for us. So let's really make it a focus to get people out to the November 26th GA at the Richland Library. Not next week, the week after. Not next week. Let's really work on getting people to the 26th. It'll be warm and dry. And this gentleman here, Glenn, is going to work on getting us something for next week.
Or for sometime down the road, that's something we can kind of count on, no matter, it might be pretty lame, but it's dry and...
Is it possible that we could maybe utilize the place that the meeting was held last night?
Well, we had to pay for it.
Okay.
But you could set it on fire.
Yeah. How much, do you know about how much it was?
No, not really. I've forgotten. But
okay.
I can get that information to you by email.
Okay.
Is anyone here a member of the Unitarian Church by chance?
Yeah.
Oh, the one in Kennewick?
The one.
Oh, okay. I thought there was one in Pasco too. There is. Oh, okay. Yeah. Because I was wondering, does one of those have a room that they would allow us to use?
Well, someone...
Because I was thinking about calling them. I would think that they might.
At one of our first meetings, one of the people, I don't remember who, said that there's a church right up the road that's very friendly to this type of effort.
Okay, and it's up the road here somewhere?
It's on McMurray.
It's on
Okay.
McMurray?
United Church
I
of
recognize
Christ.
that.
Church in Richmond.
Okay.
United Church of Christ.
I'm from South Chicago.
You might have like the American Legion over in Pasco, maybe something like that, or Union Hall.
Yeah, we could also check Kennewick Library too.
Okay.
There's 3 city libraries. Maybe we can find.
Let's get something right away. I'll make some phone calls if I have to. Let's get some people making phone calls to get an inside place that we can meet. And
Winter time, huh?
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Let's move on to the next issue.
So what are we doing with the Declaration of Human Rights?
Okay.
I'd say we take an up-down vote, yes or no.
Okay. Can we take an up-down vote on supporting or standing in solidarity with the Universal Declaration of Human Rights? Are you comfortable with that?
Yep, I'm comfortable.
Okay. And it's so adopted. Donna wrote on the website she would like us to discuss the Occupy Bachman speech and decide now our position on this approach to activism.
I'm not...
Oh, the activist interrupted her speech.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And started a mic check or something like that.
They broke into the people's mic in the middle of her little spiel, and actually police escorted her on stage until it was taken care of and done, and then she was able to come back out and give her little talk.
So, what? Oh, go ahead.
New events. I'm surprised nobody mentioned in Ohio that they got that collective bargaining shit kicked out.
Say that again.
Right? It should be getting moved. In Ohio.
Union, right.
The union won.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That is a very good thing to talk about. Last week, Ohio had a very, very important vote on union rights, whether people have the right to collective bargaining, or whether it's just one select group, and they won. And I think that really speaks loud to
not just unions, but government workers'
yes
rights.
Everyone has the right
Public
to collective bargaining. Yeah.
They were trying to take those rights away.
They did the same thing to Scott Walker the day before.
Scott Walker? Okay. Right, in Minnesota.
And the Department of Education in New York, they did the same thing.
Okay.
Now, when you say they interrupted them, did they stand up and say something, or did they literally?
Yes, they did.
Or did they literally walk up to the podium and take the mic?
No.
No, they just.
Michelle Bachmann walked up to take the mic to give her speech. She was introduced, and there was people in the audience that were part of the Occupy movement, and they declared themselves all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, just boom, did a mic check and broke into the people's mic and had their say.
They did the echo.
They did the people's mic.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I am not willing to be arrested to interrupt somebody making a political campaign speech when they aren't going to be elected anyway. We'll take it on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah, definitely case by case. I support that. Yeah.
We're not going to get arrested to stop the bankers, and we aren't going to shut down Hanford and get arrested. What do I care what that crazy leprechaun does? Crazy leprechaun!
You might be surprised how many people are backing some of these people.
They sit on the couch.
It's worthwhile to mention when we're talking about people's collective bargaining rights, teachers, that kind of thing, that there are not just one candidate on the Republican ticket, but 2 or 3 that are specifically targeting the Department of Education for dismissal completely, straight across the board.
Yeah.
And that has actually sprayed. I'm not offended to say that I was a Ron Paul supporter until last week when I read his Plan for America and realized that he's going to wipe out the Department of Education completely.
only after he lays everybody off and locks all the doors to school.
Well, that's
Makes
exactly
sense.
what would happen. But I think education is such an important part of creating a better tomorrow.
Yeah. It's awful.
Already
Nobody
gone
that-
behind.
Yeah, and it's just going to get worse.
Yeah, well,
I'd actually like to address that thing with the interrupting, whatever. I'm for it.
okay.
I'm totally for that. Anything that is getting their attention, you know, this is how we're going to get their attention. Is basically that we're going to have to go up and literally get right in their face and say, hey, we're trying to talk to you.
Right.
You know, and I think there needs to be a bigger movement to push towards that all around the entire Occupy movement.
Well, it's
all over
going
the
to
place.
get that way.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's under the halo of ignorance that it's not going to get to that. That civil disobedience is not going to eventually become part of this.
So
right
we're
now,
not striving to be political then. We're not going to try to elect a city councilman in Tri-Cities then, or anything like that next year.
don't say that. Don't
Well-
say that. We've talked about working groups that work within local.
Well, I'm just
city
wondering,
and-
because if we're going to get arrested, we're not going to be electing city councilmen. And if I'm not going to stand and get arrested to stop the war, why would I stop her from telling me the war's okay?
Well, Glenn, let's
Well,
make
you
it very
don't
clear
have to.
that not everybody who is part of this movement
I'm just
is
curious,
capable
I'm just giving things to think
or
about.
able to get arrested. But there are some who are capable or willing or actually it's a turn on for them. I don't know.
I don't want to
But-
get arrested.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, not everybody wants to or is willing to or can. Okay, there are people, especially in this area, that are gainfully employed and need to have some semblance of maintaining that. So let's keep that in mind.
But if we approve this, then I'm obligated to provide some kind of support to people who do. So,
Send out an email.
well, no, I'm just saying,
Bring down some coffee.
I don't know what my support, if I say yeah, but then I don't show up, what does that mean?
Well,
Like those other guys.
yeah.
Exactly!
Well,
The problem I have with the gainfully employed, I own my own business. The problem I have, I studied this in Mercer's Chicago. The things people sacrificed years ago are what we are now. I understand a job is important, but the problem we have, like years ago, there's no fucking support structure in this shithole country. Back then, people were able to support people when they were out of work pretty much, and they stood their ground. I'm just saying, our society, there's too much damn apathy.
Well, I was still knee-high to a grasshopper when there was people being arrested and being shot rubber bullets at and tear gas in college squares for standing up for people's rights and for, standing up against the war. I was too young to remember that. But I'll tell you, I've watched enough videos to know that the issue is not any different then than it is now. And it wasn't that there was everybody supporting them, because there was a hell of a lot of people that weren't supporting them then too. And they were seen as the fringe, and they were seen as the lazy, socialist, anti-government, hippie, socialist, Nazi. And so support hasn't changed, the fringe hasn't changed, the issue hasn't
Men and
changed.
women have to work in the family.
Right?
Years ago, either one could work and you could do fine. You could work at fucking
that's
Elvis
true.
and retire after 20 years and still support your family.
That's true.
But it has changed a lot. And the corporation has made it so.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, I
I mean,
got
it has
a
changed a lot.
Okay.
legal thing. The director.
Hello.
See what?
I know it's not enough for everyone, but we got 6 hot chocolates
What's a legal
here.
thing?
That is so
For anybody who
wonderful.
wants one. Well, you're marching on our behalf. We got to support you.
Thank you.
It's not much. I wish I had more money. I mean, to do more. But whoever wants one.
2, 3, 4.
Thank you. I'm good though.
Yeah.
Ladies first, and
Whoever, I mean, there's only 6, but whoever needs one or wants one.
Cool. Hey, man.
Yeah.
thank you.
All right.
Wish I could do more. There should be more people here.
Okay.
There will be eventually. I know. Well, I gotta go home. I had to stop by and drop these off.
Thank you.
Oh yes. Please, thank you. Oh my gosh, you're welcome. I love the sign, everything.
I'll try one thing.
That's right.
Thank you.
Oh.
All right. Take one.
I'm taking them all now.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
All right. Thank you.
Are they leaving, or I got one thing?
They're leaving. She has to go.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't. Your hands look cold. All right.
I asked if they're leaving. I asked if they're leaving.
They are. They had to leave.
All right. We got one more.
Okay.
I think he was saying that he supports it, but on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah.
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 And we should actually, as a group, decide which actions we support,
Right.
rather than just saying
If
we support every.
Well, if we.
It's hard to narrow it down because there's new things happening all the time.
Right.
And you can't be ready to. You have to be ready to support something on that regard as far as political goes.
Is it okay if we agree as a group that an action can be taken, but not everybody is there to participate?
As long as it's a peaceful action.
Right.
I don't know
And
how
that doesn't
violent
mean that somebody
was,
won't.
You know?
No, it wasn't. I don't believe anybody was arrested, but there was definitely a threat of being arrested. Police were there, so there was a possibility, and some people might be comfortable with that, some might not, but they might still support the action. So can we, as a group, support an action and understand that maybe some people aren't willing or capable of...
Why don't we come up with a list of actions? Like there's foreclosure actions being taken. There's political speeches that are up. There's meetings of education and government agencies. We could get a list of these, and people can sign up for the ones that they support, or they're willing to go get involved in direct action on those ones, and then we know what we can count on people for. Is that a good idea?
All right.
And then, you know, if one of those comes up, that it is, like he said, it just comes up, and we haven't voted to go there, but we know that that's one of the actions that we can get people for, then we've got a go-ahead.
Good idea. Okay, so basically what he's talking about is making a list of actions that are that we support. If we support taking an action against of people going to a political speech or a political meeting, if we have a list of things, of actions that we support, then we can, and people that we like, then we can go ahead and do those when they come up without having to try and run around and find out if we support it or not. We just know that this is a political action, this is our response, and we do support it, and we're going to be there. I like that idea. Let's bring that up on the website and talk about it.
All right.
Get that list going. Okay, one last thing. Logo development.
I printed one.
Has been harassing me with logos all week. I've got like 30 some logos. Bless his heart. I think maybe he didn't have a payroll this week.
Well, the goal was to print logos and bring them, but I don't think anybody printed the ones that Glenn sent. But Glenn sent in about 10 logos, and I posted them on the Facebook, and I didn't print them and bring them, but there are 10 more logos that he offered up.
Right.
A lot of them have the squat symbol, the little arrow for squatters, and Tri-Cities or OTC type of thing. Some of them say we are the 99%. Some of them have the bridge. And
now, let me get this correct. The logo is for what? Is it for buttons?
Well, it's suggested graphics that we can either say, yeah, we all like that one, and it's not terribly offensive. Unlike the atomic
because this
bomb,
goes
which
back to the buttons and the mushroom cloud.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we're voting on is some logo designs, some graphics that we could utilize in outreach, that we could utilize in posters, we could utilize in buttons, T-shirts, things like that. That we agree are positive for the group.
Yeah.
So let's revisit that again next week. Can we do that?
Yeah. And here's one I brought. It's
Here's one that was brought today. I'm going to pass this around for people to see. It's the Ned Pierce
flag
treaty of 1885.
That's their flag.
That's their flag. All right.
And they have a word which says what is it? Nimbipu, which means the people.
Oh.
Okay.
And that's they were the original inhabitants.
Right.
And their symbology is some kind of eagle with a salmon and a elk or deer.
We want to sign this, or what's
No, it's just to let people see the
Just take a look at it and
symbology.
and let's revisit this issue next week. I'll try to get some of the logos up on the website that have been presented, and that way we'll have a chance. Yeah, that way we'll have a chance to look at it, and next week we'll vote on a couple of logos that are good for us, that we like.
Okay.
Okay.
I think that's it.
Okay, that's it. For what's
maybe
on
ask
here.
around for proposals and then move on.
Are there any proposals to present? The Wall Street General Assembly. Okay, last week, yes, you brought up last week. We discussed talking about the general list of the 7 core values.
The principles of solidarity.
Yeah.
Is that the one? The principles of solidarity? Oh. I think, did we add that to the site?
We did.
Okay. Are you asking if we should vote on it, or?
No.
I think the idea last week was we were going to bring up ideas if we needed to make any changes or prioritize things a little differently than what's on the list.
Oh. I don't think that's been accepted yet by New York. It's still kind of work in progress.
Okay. So then can we take a wait and see approach on that?
That's what I suggest.
How there's a football game going on.
Oh.
I vote that we take a wait and see approach on the 7 core values, or on the values of solidarity, and see what the New York General Assembly comes up with, what they ratify, and then see if we can stand behind that when that comes. Okay. So it's on hold for now. I had something that I wanted to talk about. I received an email this week from the Buy Local Made in America working group. They are asking us to scrap making a list because of the time involved. I would like to propose that I take on responsibility for that, because I don't want to see that scrapped. The Buy Local Made in America list. List of items that can be purchased and say Made in America. Basically, maybe it was misunderstood what we were working on.
I still want to be on that also.
Okay. Maybe it was misunderstood, the focus, or what was being sought in that group, but let me re-explain. I think it's important that when I go out and purchase a shirt and it says Made in America, because I'm taking the time to look at labels and go to different stores and find a shirt or a pair of pants Made in America, I want to share with every one of you where I found that, so that we can all be able to purchase those things without wasting time and energy trying to find this. If you come across paper cups and plates that are Made in America, share that with the list. If you come up with hats, gloves, socks, underwear, let me know where you found them so that I can find them too. I think that's important. When we have local businesses and services that are in this area, support them and have a list, a growing list that's alphabetized. I'm going to create on Google Docs a spreadsheet that lists the items and also lists companies, so that we can get something going with that.
Can we get the unions to give us what they make and what they've got locally?
Yeah.
Can you get that out to them?
Yeah. Made
went
in
to
America.
Mexico, and that whole road that I searched through, gloves and everything were made in China.
Vietnam.
And we looked for jackets, and they were all made in Honduras or everywhere but here.
Right. I hate to speak for Walmart, but there are candles and socks made in Walmart that are made in America, or sold in Walmart that are made in America. I don't know if anybody wants to support Walmart at all. Is it okay to support something that's...
I think we go for the local businesses first.
Okay.
Like Washington Hardware has a lot of stuff made in China, I imagine. Just
Okay.
about everything
Right.
it is. But Washington Hardware Furniture is locally owned.
Where's that at?
On Washington Street and First and
Kennewick.
Washington.
Yeah, right. I've been in there. Okay.
They've been home-owned and operated for years.
That White's Unfinished Furniture?
Right next to it.
Right next to it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Washington Hardware and Washington Furniture.
Washington Hardware and Furniture.
Washington Hardware and Furniture. Okay. Okay. Was there something else I was wanting to say? Okay, well, thank you for your input on the Walmart deal. Also, how does everybody feel about when you go into a store like Old Navy or American Outback? American Eagle Outback, yeah. When you walk in there and you're looking for things and it all says made in China or wherever, go to a representative, go to somebody behind the counter and say, do you have anything made in America? I'm looking for American labels. Just bring it to their attention.
Make your voice heard in there, right?
Yeah.
That you're looking.
Yeah. I've gone into some good conversations with people doing that. And the PSA, the customer service people, were aware that there was nothing made in America. And one of them actually apologized to me. So, it's not like people don't know. Okay, so you're talking about free trade? Things that are made, that are union made, but not in America. I guess a good example of that would be New Balance. New Balance. Automobiles, cars, right?
Motorcycles are made in Ohio now. It says made in America, made in the USA right on it, but they ship the parts over and assemble it.
Right.
Yeah.
We do need to be careful of that. The company that I worked for years in Washougal, Washington, Vinings Industries, was bought out by a Holland company, and they laid off 36 factories, chemical factories around the United States, laid off everybody, kept 3 places open, and hired 3 people back at minimum wage. And they basically brought 2 containers of chemicals over, and they poured them together at a certain concentration and said, made in America. And that's allowable under certain free trade agreements. And that's despicable. Absolutely despicable.
Are we going to make plans
to be represented in Olympia? That's a good question.
Oh,
that's on the 28th?
The 28th. They're assembling. There's a statewide assembly on the 28th in Olympia.
Okay.
I think that's the one, right?
Okay.
And they've invited all the assemblies to come.
So, I opened it. Thank you. Sorry it's so cold. We'll try to make this real short. Do we want to be involved in that? Do we want to send people?
That's where you make the biggest splash there.
Right.
I mean, these people are nice and they wave and everything, but those are the people that their wave makes them count, you know.